Hello and welcome to Breakthrough with MediaU. It is so great to see you here and have you here. I'm Adam Leipzig, and this is a compact, accelerated 30-minute mentoring session. Today, our guest, the amazing, super friend of mine, Tamika Lamison. Tamika is a writer, director, producer, actor, mentor herself, the founder of the Make a Film Foundation, the person who is instrumental and created the diversity program for the Directors Guild's commercial organization, which I just misspoke about. And Tamika, you're going to correct me in a second so we get it right. And a little bit later, we'll tell people how they can apply to get into that program. And today, to get ready for the new year, to get ready for 2023, we're going to talk about mentoring. We're going to mentor about mentoring. This is live. And so if you are here live, get your questions in now because we only have about 29 minutes left. And Tamika, hello, welcome.
Hi. Hey, it's so good to see you.
It
I
is,
miss doing our podcast together.
I know we're going
We
to do some more next year. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, but I'm excited to talk about mentoring because I feel like it's such an important part of developing careers. And yeah, I've had some great, wonderful people in my life, more on the later end, actually. But I feel like if you can get a mentor in your early emerging parts of your career, then all the better. It's so helpful.
So let's just start with the first tip that you might give people about figuring out, like, where do you find a mentor? Who is a mentor? Or like, how do you do that?
You know, it's so interesting because what I've realized now is that even people who are your peers can also be your mentors. Some of my actual peers have become my mentors as well. So you can find mentors from people who um, you are working with, who are your friends, who have sort of started to ascend. I won't say beyond you, but they're sort of ascending at an accelerated rate. And so they might get to a place that you want to be at. And so they then, can become your mentors as you're getting to that place as well. And then you can find mentors if let's say you're in a program, the person who maybe runs that program can become your mentor or help you to find a mentor. You can also find mentors by just finding people who you really admire and organically cultivating a relationship with them, and hopefully a mentorship sort of can evolve from that. So I really feel there's so many different ways to find mentors these days. It's not just I want Steven Spielberg to be my mentor, and then it's Steven Spielberg, but there are so many more people who can actually mentor you where you are and really help you to ascend yourself.
So once you know who your mentor is, and that person, you don't even have to say you're my mentor, and that person
Right.
doesn't have to say you're my mentee. It's just like it just kind of happens. I've had amazing mentors in my life, and we've never used that word. It has just
Yeah.
happened. But one of the things that, um, how important is it to be interested? I mean, we know we want the mentor to be interested in us, but
Right.
how important is it to be interested in what the mentor is doing?
Oh, I think it's extremely important in order to create an organic relationship. I mean, all relationships are give and take, right? I think that your mentor wants to know about you as much as you should want to know about them, right? So if you can find things that interest you, things outside of just the obvious business things, right? So things that you're both interested in that you can talk about that are not necessarily just the business, then you can, I feel, begin to cultivate, and I'll use this word a lot, an organic relationship, friendship that's not necessarily just transactional or opportunistic, even though, and I don't mean those in bad terms. I'm not saying they're, opportunistic is okay, but it would be great to develop something beyond that, because then I feel like it can be more of a fulfilling relationship for both people. And And I mean, friendships and mentorships go hand in hand if you're really lucky, right? That has happened to me in my life. And those are what I feel the most robust mentorship, mentee relationships. It's a give and take. You're both learning from each other and you're both growing together. And you enjoy being around each other because you're having organic conversations about things that are, beyond just the business sometimes.
Right. So maybe you could give people some guidance in, like there's this how much can I interact with my mentor? I know that they're super busy.
Right.
Um, so I only want to go to them when I need to go to them. But but in terms of building relationship, like can you say, hey, I just saw this amazing music video. It made me think about the last film you made. I want to share it with you. Those which has nothing to do with anything that's transactional. You're not even asking your mentor for help or advice. You're just being additive to their career or to whatever they're doing.
I think that is amazing. I think that's an amazing way to stay in contact. I mean, I would probably, and if I did something like that, I would use it as I'd say I would feed two birds with one seed. So
Mm.
I would save that for when I had something additional to share with my mentor that was amazing about what I was doing in my life. Like
Mm.
this just happened, and it reminded me that I also wanted to share this incredible music video that reminded me of what you did. So it's like you're sort of taking care of more than one thing, and it makes a little bit more sense, right? So that's kind of how I would handle that. I mean, you don't have to handle it that way, but that's maybe what I would do.
We're here to get your mentoring, so thank you
Yeah.
for that.
I would just say I wanna make the most of reaching out to my mentors. So I always try and make it, feeding 2 birds with 1 seed, I say. Yeah.
I like that phrase, feeding two birds with one seed.
Yeah.
Maybe you could also just talk as a next pointer. What level of questions is it appropriate to ask a mentor? Like, how basic should it be? How sophisticated should it be? Should you ask a mentor something that you can Google yourself? You're shaking your head no, but I get those questions all the time. It's like, hello, could you please just save it?
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely refrain from asking questions that you can Google. There are questions that you can Google that are more expansive, so you want to get that mentor's perspective on that specific thing. I think that's okay. But then there are questions where it's like, well, you can like just Google and find out from the writers guild. Like, well, how much is maybe the if someone's asking how much would I get paid if I got a television movie? Just go, if I'm in the Writers Guild, just go to the Writers Guild website and Google that information, right? I wouldn't ask my mentor things like that. I would try and ask my mentor questions that show them that I'm super self-aware about my career and where I want to go with my career. So if you want to maybe ask your mentor targeted questions, like let's say you love sci-fi, right? And you're really good at it and you're really good at characters and things like that, and you want to ask your mentor, hey, I see that there's a lot going on with sci-fi and maybe afrofuturism. If I were to really try and break into that, because I seem to be talented at that, would you suggest that I write an original pilot? What's that world like? Or would you maybe suggest that I write a film? I'd love to get your feedback on that because that's where I'm talented. That's where I really feel I shine. And so I think asking those kind of specific questions, because it actually will really help you, specifically with your career, are the kind of questions you want to kind of dig in and ask them.
And
That's what I.
yeah, and a question like that would really give the mentor uh, such a specific question that they would be able to rely on their own life and work experience to give you real coaching and real guidance. So you're also digging. That's not a question you can Google. The question that you
No.
just posed, and so you're really right. So you're really
Exactly.
relying on the genuine guidance and coaching the mentor can give.
Yes. Yes. So as many of those types of questions I would definitely go for. And then if you know that that mentor has some specific area of expertise that you can connect to your question that is also specific to your own career and self-awareness, that's even better. Let's just say you like uh, Hallmark movies, and you know that that exec has previously worked at Crown Media or something like that, and so you have some specific ideas about maybe I think Hallmark has like a specific 9 act structure that's different from typical structure, right? Then you can
Hmm.
sort of maybe even pitch your idea and run it by them, and you can really get in there and ask them about their experience and what they've noticed about that particular story structure and tropes that they like or things you can stay away from. The more detailed and specific that you can get, I think, is the way to really cultivate. And it also shows that mentor how serious you are, again, how self-aware you are, and that you really know how to dig in and grow and discover things about yourself, and that you want to get better, and that you've done your homework with them too.
Right, that's so important. And now taking a little pause from mentoring about mentoring, just before we went live, you shared that you had a first time in your life experience just a little while ago.
Yeah.
Could you tell everybody what you just did?
Oh my gosh, it was so awesome. I sold an idea. I got an idea greenlit, basically from sending a paragraph to these execs. So just for context, I had a great meeting, and when it comes to, and this is also, it wasn't mentorship, but it's like knowing who you're talking to and asking them questions and things that they're interested in. So the 4 execs that I was talking to at this company, we all talked about dogs and we were really into it. And that became a thing. And then they were like, okay, you know what? We'd love you to just send us 4 ideas, just a paragraph each. And yeah, and we'll check them out and see if it's something we're interested in. So I did that. And then a couple of months later, my agent's like, oh yeah, they want to have another meeting with you. They like these 2 ideas. Be prepared to really kind of dig in and pitch and expand on the ideas and all of that. So then I got on the call, and it was not a pitch call. I was like, this doesn't sound like what my agents told me it was. So I asked them, I said, what is this call about? Is this a, and they were like, oh, they didn't tell you we greenlit this idea. And I was like, wait, what? You greenlit that idea that I sent to you? A paragraph? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, so this is, I said, hold on, let me pause and absorb this because this never happens, okay? You need to give me a moment to allow all of this amazingness to watch over me. Don't just throw it out there. Oh, we greenlit this idea. They didn't tell you. I'm like, no, they didn't. So it was pretty amazing. I love sharing stories like that because they're kind of rare, and we always talk about how hard it is. So I always want to share something amazing like that when it happens. It does happen, apparently.
So so you bonded over dogs. You had a great first meeting, but what was so special about that paragraph? Do you think that got them to green light something based on a paragraph?
So, just to give some context about what I was saying about mentoring, one of my good friends is doing really well in the screenwriting writing world. I'm going to give her a shout out, Camille Tucker. She's doing some really great things, and we've been friends for a long time. And she actually wrote something for this studio, and so she gave me some really good. Feedback on my ideas, and she helped me to really flesh them out. She's like, these are the things that you really should think about. Great ideas. These are some things you really should think about when you're sending them your paragraphs. I also did my own research on that studio and the things that they do. And so I was really able to tailor the concepts to exactly the kind of thing that they would love and would do. And then I also made sure that I had a really cool title because I know that this studio likes they have really interesting titles for their movies. So I was like, okay, and I need to really make sure that the title pops. And so I did my homework, and that's kind of I think that really showed in the concepts, and that's sort of what they responded to. I did the work too.
So just to summarize out some of the high points, you were super prepared. You had road tested it with, uh, and I don't know if she even knows that she was your mentor, but she was your coach, your feedback giver, your cheerleader, and your truth teller
Yes,
in responding back. So you road tested it, you tweaked it, you were ready, you were super prepared. You did your research on the studio. You knew you had a good title. Titles are so important.
they are.
Titles are
Yeah,
so
so
important.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, let's do another mentoring tip. Let's talk about the kind of favors that
Mm.
people can ask for, uh, earned, unearned. Like, what's an earned favor? What's an unearned favor? What can you ask for? What can't you ask for?
So that's interesting, and I definitely think that it depends on who your mentor is. Like, my friend who helped me with this last thing that was amazing, the greenlit concept, she is a friend, so I can pretty much ask her for almost anything. But even with her, because she's so busy, I don't ask her to read certain things more than once. I will, when I decide with her, do I want her to give me really detailed notes, or do I want her to just read it and just give me just an overall kind of thought where I don't have to do too much work because I feel like it's already there, right? And I think depending on the mentor, if it's a friend, you can maybe get a little bit more out of them. If it's someone who's a little bit more of a high profile mentor, if you ask them to read something, make sure it's the best that it can be, that you feel like it's ready, that other people have read it, and because you really want that mentor to see your best work. Because when they see your best work, then they can actually think about, oh, this person is amazing, they're ready. I might have some ideas of places that might want to take this, or I might have rooms that they might be ready to go in. If it's your best work, you want to present, show them where you are, right? So, that's a favor you can ask. Read my work. Please do ask them to read your work, but make sure it's ready. I would say a favor that you maybe should avoid is asking them to recommend you for a writing room or a writing assignment when they have not read your work. I wouldn't do that, because how
Right.
can they really recommend you? I mean, you could be a cool person and be awesome and they but if they haven't actually read your work, they really can't recommend you in that way.
Mm, right. And and that seems like the fastest way to lose a mentor, to put them in an uncomfortable position where they have to say, "I'm sorry, I haven't read your work. How could you possibly ask me to recommend you?" They may not say that to you explicitly, but they'll be thinking that, and it'll feel uncomfortable, and then they might fade out of your life.
Yes, and that can happen. And I mean, hopefully the mentor will say it to you in a way that you can respond with some awareness. If you make, I mean, because mistakes are allowed, right? You can make mistakes. But I think how, if you make that mistake, how you respond to them when they give you that advice is critically important, right? If you really show that, oh my God, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking. Of course, of course. Of course. And then you can sort of slide in, would you be willing to read? Then maybe you can do that, right? But at least you have understood your error, right? But always it's about how you respond to those things as well, right?
I think that anybody would respond to you amazingly with your sense of humor about yourself and your self-aware laughter if you ever did make a mistake. It's just like a
Oh,
great way.
I try and clean it up, but I definitely make them.
Me too. We all do. We like that's how we all learn. But I also want to talk before we end our time together. Could you talk about directors, commercials, diversity, and what's going on right now that people can get into if it's right for them?
Yeah, so I am the exec director of the Commercial Directors Diversity Program. It's a inclusion and diversity program for the direct that was sort of created between the during negotiations between the Directors Guild of America and the AICP, which is the Association of Independent Commercial Producers. And we have our portal open for applications right now. So if you are in any way consider yourself a diverse director and you want to direct commercials specifically, then we definitely encourage you to apply. We would love to have you apply to, and you can ask me questions directly. Like I'm very accessible. So if you email or get in touch with me through the website, I will respond immediately to your questions, and I will support your applications in whatever way that I can. And we'll be taking applications through the end of January. It's a really incredible program. So check out
Could
the website.
could you share the URL for that program where people can find it? And you can also always reach Tamika through MediaU because Tamika is one of our uh, most amazing advisors. Thank you for
Oh,
that, Tamika. But what's the URL so people can find what
yes.
that portal is? And we'll also post it on the page with this broadcast.
Fantastic. So you can go to cddprogram.org. cddprogram.org.
CDD as in Commercials Directors Diversity,
Yeah,
cddprogram.org.
exactly.
Fabulous. We're all getting ready for the new year. We're all looking forward to an amazing 2023, carrying the good parts of 2022 forward and leaving the more disappointing parts of 22 behind, I hope. Do you have final thoughts on mentoring that you would like to share before we wish everyone an amazing new year?
What I would say is find look where you don't really think that you might have a mentor, right? Like I said, my best friend has become a mentor for me, and I'm a mentor for one of my other best friends who's an exec, but she's getting into writing. So it's sort of we are looking to the left and to the right of us for our mentorship, as well as people that we admire, as well for mentors. And you don't have to have one mentor, you can have many mentors. So I would say make that one of your, I don't really say New Year's resolutions or goals, I say an action plan. So on your action plan, put finding a mentor that may not be, Ava DuVernay. She'd be great, right? Hey, Ava, I'd like you to mentor me. But I mean, find someone who's in the realm of your world who you can just like say, hey, that person is really moving and shaking, and we've been friends for a long time. I think I would like them to be my mentor, and make that put that on your action plan. And I think, yeah.
That is a fabulous action plan and a great way to think about going into the next cycle of our creative careers. And for everyone, a Media Use action plan is that there will be more breakthroughs with Media U in 2023. We hope that you will join us. We hope that you will share your thoughts and your questions, the people that you would like us to talk to on this broadcast. And until the next one, we wish you a spectacular 23 and a great set of creativity in whatever you're working on.
Yes, go get it. Be creative. Thank you so much for having me.
Tamika, thank you. It is always so much fun to talk with you. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day and a great year.
You too. Bye.
Bye.